Goals change games. I think if we'd have got the second one in the first half, which we had chances to, or at any point, I think the game dies. The longer we didn't get that, they started to get into the game more. And I think one of the things that we've got to grow as a team about, and maybe Portland's like a really unique situation because of the rivalry, but I do think it's the same in the league, is I thought we played brilliantly against Orlando on both sides of the ball. And then I think tonight we tried to overplay in moments, and that gave them opportunities to win the ball back off us and keep their momentum going. Where with the personnel we have in those moments, for me, we could like be a little bit more pragmatic, put the ball in areas where they can't continue their attack or regain their attack. And I think that's some of the growth that we've got to look at as a team. But I thought we had some standout performances. I thought Claudia was excellent. I thought Sam Mazer again was very good, and was great next to her. I thought of all the front line, the ones that started and came on, worked so hard. But I think if I'm in that front line and I know, the two that were just sat here, I know my traits, I would be grabbing our group and saying, just put it behind them, I'll run, And maybe it's time, we need time. First, obviously, game Lynn's been able to start. But obviously, overall, really happy that we got a clean sheet, really happy that we were able to get the win. It always feels great winning at home. And yeah, a lot's made about the rivalry. I think the biggest thing about the rivalry is, one, it's really respectful. But there's things about it that both teams are going to love, right? You heard Becky Sauerbrunn the other day. They're going to chant, build a bonfire and put us on top of it. We're going to get some roses and smash them about a little bit. And I think that's what makes it great. As long as we can come off the field and all know that it's all in the spirit of the rivalry, because there's really good players on both sides. I have a lot of respect for Rob. And yeah, I think it's a respect thing, that we can go at each other the way that we do. And it's organic and it's real, and that's what I love about it.
We've talked to you about Lynn a lot, but Maddie was just in here and she said that, she can affect this club in a lot of different ways, not just when she's playing. What have you seen from how she's been able to maybe impart wisdom or, just impact your group outside of, being on the field the last two matches?
Yeah, she's a leader, and I think she realised the moment she came into the team that there was a place for that. It was needed, I think I've spoke about this before. I think when Pino left, the Lou, Jess and Pino trio, there was a little void missing in that. And I feel like Lynn's filled it in a really positive way. And not just in how she acts, but how she encourages others to be too. And with the group that we have, and obviously a lot of the ones that are a little bit inexperienced right now, she helps them so much, and has really empowered Jess and Lou to do the same. And I think that that's going to be crucial for us moving forward.
I wanted to ask first.
Cool top.
Thank you.
That's pretty sweet.
I wanted to ask first, Coco came off a little hobbled around the 60th minute. Do you have any updates on her?
I don't really. I think it's muscular, but I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Okay, and then you mentioned Haz's performance. I feel like we've seen so much more, just so many more good things from her this season. Yeah. I'm particularly thinking the ball in behind to Lynn for that particular chance.
Potable, yeah.
Just can you talk a bit about what you've seen from her in terms of season over season improvement to get to the point that we're seeing her like this season? Yeah,
honestly, I say this all the time, we've been blessed at this club to have some really good internationals who fit in immediately. Jess, Kim Little, list goes on. For some internationals, it takes a minute. I think G's one of them. I think Haz is one of them. We're getting used to the style of play, the pace of play, how intense the games are. It can take a minute, and I think that has helped Haz having some time. I think secondly, she's got big things to play for right now, big things to show her national team coach that she's ready to do, to go and play in the biggest tournament of her life. So if you can go into that in form, you're setting yourself up for success. So I think I've literally haven't spoken to her about it, but I think that's a big driver for her. I'm sure it is, and we're the beneficiary of that. So great.
All right, we'll take Nico and then Jeff.
So it's the first time we saw Jordan Heitma and Lynn Biyendolo starting together.
Yeah.
How do you think they matched up together, and how do you think they changed the game over the course?
Yeah, I just think that's the piece that's going to take time, right? It's just so unfortunate that they both got little niggles when they did, that we haven't, how many games we had? 5? South African? The 5th game is the one that they've been able to get into together because, this would be the stuff that we'd want to be doing in pre-season. But it is what it is. And I think the more they play together, the more we realise what strengths we have out of them. Jordan's aerial presence is exceptional. Lynn's ability to run in behind is exceptional. That sometimes we don't need to play the pretty football. We can just play up to them and let them do their stuff, and I think that's the little pieces of the nuances of the game I think we've got to learn.
And to talk about a couple subs, we had G coming on and Adames.
Yeah.
They made a pretty big impact from the moment they came on.
Yeah.
Of course, you said that previously that Adames, she's awesome off the bench.
Yeah.
But how do you think, and how well do you think they impacted this game to secure this narrow victory?
Yeah, I think that when they came on, they worked really hard. And I think that's the balance, right? Both Emery and G are going to do really well with the ball. And the balance was, do we need people who are just going to defend, or do we need people that are going to be able to help us going forward? And I think that's the layer for both of them, like really digging in on that defending side and understanding how important that is, that they're needed in these moments. And I think they did a good job of that. They really dug in because we know their quality when they can get mid to final third, and obviously it's like that balance. Do we keep the 1-0 or can we try and get the second and kill the game off? And they help us to be able to potentially do both. So that was sort of the thought process around that.
How important is it to get points in a situation now where 5 matches in, you've gritted out a couple of victories, gotten a draw at home as well. Now you're getting some tangible results to go with some of these performances as you're establishing a new identity for this team for 2025.
Yeah, I think I said it at the start of this, and I was speaking to the staff about it. I think we played much better last week, but we didn't win. So I think that's the conversation we've got to have. What do we want to be? Do we want to win games and then solve all the little bits and things that we need to get better at? Or do we want to play a certain way and maybe lose? And I think with this team, with the potential that it has, I think playing to win is what we need to look at, and educating ourselves on that and how we do that is going to be important, because if we do that, I think then we can play the style we want if we do all the little things right, which we got away with a few tonight. So I think that's the next layer for us. How do we sort of like marry the two, playing the way style that we want, whilst also recognising that some games just aren't about that. And it wasn't that tonight. It wasn't that type of game. And I think we sort of got away with a little bit of that as the game went on. But, the best time to be able to really talk about that's when you win.
So, Laura, you mentioned there were some things that need to be cleaned up, obviously, like any match. Yeah. It was like, I think it was around like the 66th or the 70th. Portland was starting to pile on the pressure a little bit. I looked down on the sideline, and you were making a big sweeping gesture with your right hand.
Probably.
What were you telling the squad in that moment?
I was probably having a heart attack. I would guess get up the field. I think we were really deep. And I think, I'll give you one nuance I think we have to get better at. We have to decide, are we clearing the ball? If we're clearing it, put it in row Z. If we're playing, pass it to someone. We get caught in between and we give them the ball back 30 yards from goal and their attack continues. And like I said to the staff, we need to do 20 minutes on just the ball bouncing and whacking it. As silly as that sounds, right? Just the nuances of the game that when you get experience and when you've lived losing off things like that, you learn from it. I'd prefer us to learn from it when we win. So probably that. You know me, I'm crazy. So
Claudia looked like she was getting kind of nicked up a little bit throughout the game. Did you ever consider taking her out, or did her game-saving play kind of like force your hand to make sure that she stayed in there?
Yeah, one of them, which I think she played long and either rolled her ankle or got clipped, I'm not sure. And the one when she came out and claimed it, I think she like cricked her neck a little bit. But no, I mean, we were ready. Cassie was ready. But Claudia was fine to continue. And I always get accused of getting the goalkeeper to go down when they're not injured, which we don't do actually. But yeah, she had a few, and she had to at times stand on her head. So that athleticism can feel painful. So I think you saw that tonight. But yeah, thankfully I think she's okay.
Okay, we'll take Charles and then one more from Nico before you.
So with her assist on Maddie's goal, Lynn tied the league's all-time assist record.
With who?
Sophia
Huerta. Right.
Can you just speak? I know that we're talking about getting her in behind, and obviously being the league's leading goal scorer is big. But can you speak to her playmaking ability as well, just with that record?
Well, I think those two stats alone say so much about her, right? Like, not many people have goals and assists at that level. So I think the recognition she needs is that her ability to be able to stretch games will either give her the chance to score goals or give her the chance to be able to get someone else to score. And she's been doing this ever since she walked into this league. And we felt, unfortunately, the other side of it. And I can't wait to continue this journey with her and her to be on our team.
During the goal celebrations, saw that Maddie ran over to you for a big hug. Of course, a beautiful moment, her first club professional goal.
Yeah.
How was that feeling on the bench? What were the conversations, especially after the match between the two of you?
Yeah, she actually didn't hug me, but she hugged someone. And honestly, I think the thing for Maddie, which you guys have seen, is she's had those chances in the 5 games, right? And all we're doing as a collective, staff and players, is just continue to encourage her to keep doing it. And knowing it would come. We knew this kid's going to score goals. And if in those moments she's fearful that by taking that chance and she doesn't score, people are going to be on it. No, it's the opposite. Keep doing it. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come. And yeah, just so happy for her that she got that break.
All right, we'll take a couple on Zoom. Blake, go ahead.
What's happening, Blake? Oh, you muted.
There.
Oh, can't hear you, mate.
Do we have the sound on the computer?
Hey, Coach.
There he is.
Hey, Coach. This is Blake Spadaro from Blake's Take and W Swish. How would you grade your team's overall performance tonight?
I think obviously the win's great. I think there's areas we could get better at. I think again we defended the box well a lot. We have to do it a lot too. But I think we can get better in our structure defensively higher up the field to try and prevent that. I think we could get better in, like I've already said, I think turning the opponent and getting the ball in behind them to relieve some pressure. I think we can do better at that. But just really proud of the players that they dug in and got the result.
And how would you assess the team's level of communication during the game as well?
It's hard for me to hear because, one, it's loud, and two, I'm normally shouting. But that's a conversation that we have a lot, is we're quite young and inexperienced, and that comes with people not really feeling like they have the voice. So we're really trying to work on empowering players to get after each other a little bit and communicate and talk and really decide what they want the game to be. So I think it's something that we need to continue to work on.
Thank you, Coach.
No worries, mate.
Thanks, Blake. And then we'll take one last one from Rowie.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for your time here. I just wanted to ask about the moments right after the final whistle blew. I know the folks over at the women's game, after you chatted with them, said they had a good idea of what you were probably screaming. I saw also you throwing the roses. I just want to know what was going through your head when the whistle blew, and that sort of a little bit of color, if you've got it, from celebrating this big rivalry win.
relief, probably. I don't think I said anything other than like, yes, thank you. That was great. I think relief was the biggie for me. And yeah, look, the roses thing, it's not to be anything about being disrespectful. It's actually a respect thing that this rivalry runs deep, always has. And again, I think for our fans, seeing us beat Portland at home is a big deal, and they know what that means. And I've got no doubt that when we go there, they're going to make it as hostile as possible for us, and hand out roses, and that's the rivalry. They love roses, we don't. So, I don't know how else to talk about it. And again, I don't want anyone to think it's about being disrespectful. It's actually the complete opposite. It's complete and utter respect for the opponent and what they've done and what they continue to do as a club and what this rivalry means to both teams. So, it means everything. I said it before. I circle this game anytime I get the schedule, it's the first game I look for when we're playing Portland at home and when we're playing Portland away, because that's what it means, and that's okay. I think I've lived through a lot of these rivalries. I've lived through rivalries when I coached in England, and it's a performative thing. You want the fans to feel it. You want them to know that you're with them, but there's never disrespect in it, and I hope that no one thinks that, because it's truly not that.
Yeah, I think that Maddie's ceiling is so high. I have said this in multiple meetings or media things, and I don't know if I've actually said it to you, but you remind me of a younger me, and I am hopeful that I can help in any way to teach you things that I learned later in my career, so you can surpass me and surpass so many obstacles that are in your way. She's a very speedy forward. I think backlines should be very threatened from her, but she's also crafty. She sees the game really well. And she's young, so you got good knees. And so I just think that her ceiling is so high, and I feel very lucky to be able to play with her and get to see her grow. I think that even from preseason to now, her game has grown exponentially, and I can't wait to see the player she is at the end of the season, but also in 10 years from now, if that's how long you want to play.
Thanks, Lynn.
Maddie, how good this goal must feel for you? I mean, after some close calls and the way that last match went.
Yeah, definitely feels good. Been taking a lot of reps, and to see one finally hit the back of the net was just kind of a monkey off my shoulder. And Lynn is so fun to play with, and I know I'm always ready when she's on the ball, and I think it just was really exciting and overall a really good team win.
Lynn, I'm sure you want it back, but what did you see on your breakaway there? Has looked like she had a nice ball to you. Just tough one, clipped it there. What did you see on that?
Yeah, she was definitely, I could have gone around her, or I could have done a lot of things differently. But what I saw was she was coming out, and I was like, let me try to sneak this past near post, and it just missed the outside. So, yeah, obviously want that one back, but I think I would be more concerned if we weren't getting in those positions. And it's just about sharpening that and getting to the training field. And also, I'm going to give myself some grace. This is my first start in a very long time coming back from injury. But yeah, I should put that one away.
To kind of follow up on what you just referenced, your first start in a rain uniform.
Yeah. Must
be a special game, especially against Portland. What's been going on in your mind when you saw your name on the team sheet?
Yeah, it's being injured sucks. I felt really good in preseason coming off of last year, and so to twist my ankle right before the season started was annoying, to say the least. Horrible timing. So to be back out there, obviously I want to be in the game. I want to be able to contribute on the field, but anytime I am able to contribute at all, I think is a win. I think as you start to get older and playing the game, anytime you're on the field is such a blessing. So I'm more excited that I was at training this whole week and being able to train with my teammates and have fun doing that. But anytime you can come and beat the Thorns at home, it's a good day. So.
And Lynn talks about contributing. She can contribute without being on the field. She's such an amazing leader, and I think I learned a lot from her with her even not on the field. So imagine what we can all learn as a squad when she's back on the field.
Yeah, in film they're probably shut up. Stop talking.
To talk about the occasion, derby game, victory over Portland, how sweet does it feel?
Feels great. Feels amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a personal vendetta against Portland since 2016. Actually, honestly, 2017 when we played, and I was in North Carolina. We played them in the finals, and it was more of a rugby match than it was a football game. And since then, I have taken any time we play them personally. So to be able to win is good.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Jeff.
This is in two parts. One, how important was it to get an early goal for a change? Goals have kind of been at a premium. All of a sudden, you found yourself up one, and you weathered a quick response where Moultrie nearly leveled it like 2-3 minutes later.
Yeah, I think that anytime you can score early, I think you hear this all the time, but it just relieves a bit of pressure off of you. You're then on the front foot. They have to bring the game to you now. They're chasing the game the entire time. Obviously, as the game goes on, especially in the second half, we want to have more control of the game. But to be a young team and, like you said, kind of starved of goals right now, to get one early, I think is exactly how we want to start. Now we can talk about everything else after that, but we check that one off the list.
And then how does that contribute to the identity that the team is starting to establish? They've had a couple of scrappy things where you've managed to grab some points here at home. You know, the draw, you've gotten a couple of early season wins. What kind of identity do you think this team is starting to establish?
I think just gutting it out. I mean, it's not always going to be pretty, but we need to find that fight in those moments. And then, like Lynn said, I think the game presented a new thing for us, and that was managing the game and, holding a lead. And I think that's important to learn as you go deeper into the season, deeper into playoffs. That's really important to be able to manage a game. So learning that now is really important for us.
Yeah, I always say it's always nice to learn while you're winning, not learn while you're losing. So I think that we're scrappy and we're young and we have some talented players, but there's little things that we just have to get better at.
So this one's for both of you. I'm curious, Maddie, when you were really cooking early in the match, like Torpy was having a hard time handling you, what's the signal to say, give me the ball now? And Lynn, obviously, you've been in that zone several times too. How do you signal to your teammates like, hey, I'm on one right now?
I don't think it's necessarily a signal. I think they can recognize it. They're really smart players, and I think it's like Lynn found me on that perfect ball. And I think it's just people understand the rhythm of the game. And I think, honestly, we could have done a better job finding the weak side. I think they were shifted over a lot. But I think overall our team did a good job of capitalizing and using the momentum to our advantage.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think when somebody's hot, you got to give them the ball.
All right, Charles up here.
Sorry to bring up the missed breakaway, and while not acknowledging a milestone, you tied the league lead in assists all time with a current teammate and a former teammate. What does that mean to you? Jess McDonald and Sophia Huerta. So I'm sure Sophia will want to catch up to you whenever she comes back. What does that mean to you? I mean, to just continue to add to the legacy that you've already set and just kind of keep pushing yourself. Obviously it's a team game.
Yeah.
But this is a personal achievement that I know you achieved with your teammates.
Yeah. I didn't start playing to set out goals of I want to be like the assist leader. I just love playing. Like I said before, I want to be able to contribute in any way. I think it also means I've been playing a long time. But I also think that it shows that I have teammates that are in great spaces, and if they are occupying great spaces, give them the ball. We just talked about Maddie was hot, give her the ball. She's in a great space. I'm not going to try to overcomplicate things. I want to win more than anything. So if that means I need to pass it and make the right play, then that's what I'm going to do. But I also think that there are times in our career where we should be able to celebrate ourselves and not just wait until the end of our career and be like, wow, I did all these really cool things. We should celebrate it in those moments. Because in this career, it's always, what's the next thing? This game is over, we're gonna celebrate it tonight, and then we have to turn the page and go to the bay. The amount of times that you can just celebrate are short. So I'm sure I'll go home and tell my husband, and he'll get excited for me, and then I'll say, please give me some electrolytes because I'm gonna cramp. But no, it's exciting, and it's something that I'm proud of. But at the end of the day, I'm more excited to beat the Thorns.
Okay, we'll take the last in-person one here from Bella, and then we'll take the last two on Zoom.
I wanted to ask, because you had talked before signing with the Reign about being closer to home. Obviously, Becky Sauerbrunn and Sam Ewis, not exactly living nearby, but they were here, they were filming and then here for the game. Just what kind of support have you seen from both your personal circle, but also from fans since you've come to Seattle, basically?
Yeah, personal circle. It's been great. Like, my family didn't come to this game, but they'll be at some games, and to be able to like have 2 days off and fly home, or I can call them on my way to training. We have to be there at 9:30, and they're up. But when I was in New York, I'd be like, it's 9 o'clock and it's 6 o'clock here. They're not awake. And then when I'm like, it's time to go to bed, you know what I mean? So just time difference wise is like awesome. But the fans have welcomed me like more than I could ever have imagined. I never imagined like in my career where I would be on so many different teams. And so to be able to be welcomed like these fans have welcomed me in the community, and just I fully feel like I'm at home. And that I think sometimes takes a bit of time to do. And how long have I been here? Since January?
Yeah. 4 months.
4 months, and it's already felt like home. So I credit that to my teammates, but also the fans of just like open arms and being like, we accept you as one of us.
All right, we'll take last two on Zoom. Blake, go ahead.
Hey, ladies, this is for both you ladies. What did you ladies think was the key to the team's performance tonight? And what were the main adjustments made during halftime, if there was any made at all?
I think one of the main things we adjusted at half was we were just too deep. We couldn't really build enough pressure on the ball, and I think it got a little better in the second half. I think we can go over film and kind of improve that a little more, but I think it was just a gritty performance. I don't really necessarily think we followed the game plan like we wanted to, but I think sometimes it's going to be like that. Sometimes we're just going to have to gut it out, and I think it's important to be able to go over those mistakes in film, but I think it's also as important that we gutted this one out.
Yeah, I think that we started fast, and that was obviously in the game plan. It's always in the game plan, start fast. But like Maddie said, it was just a gritty, gutsy performance. I think we're going to need to go back and watch some film and figure out why it was that way. Right now, I think our emotions are like high, but like looking at it, it's never as bad as you think it is, and it's never as good as you think it is once you watch it back. So I'm just interested to see like what went wrong, what we could have done better, but we won, so we'll take that.
We will.
Thanks, Blake. All right, we'll take one from Rowie.
Hi there. Thank you both for taking the time. Maddie, I had a question for you following up on sort of Lynn's comments about you and her point about celebrating yourself. I'm just wondering what it's like to, hear such kind things from someone who you must have grown up, deeply respecting and even idolizing, sort of working with people who have been around this game for a long time, like Laura. Like, what is it like to have that spotlight on you right now, and to sort of recognize that all these people who you watched growing up are now watching you and giving you the round of applause?
Yeah, I think the main word that would describe it is just surreal. I mean, I've idolized Lynn, Jess, a lot of these players on this team, and especially from a player like Lynn, like it's just amazing to soak in all of the information that she has, because I can learn the most from her, and I think I'm in awe of her every day, and I think it's just a blessing to be on the field with her. And I think also it's just like she puts me in really good positions and she makes me look better, and I think that hopefully I can do the same for her and we can grow our connection. I mean, it's only our first really real game together, but I think it's just kind of a starting off point, and the things she said about me were obviously amazing, and I have all the most respect for her, but it's just I don't really have the words to describe it, honestly.